The Surfing Violinist presents the Beyond Bollywood OneTake, Harishchandrachi Factory. Harishchandrachi Factory is a Marathi film that offers a whimsical depiction of the birth of Indian cinema. With its light-hearted tone and enthusiastic outlook, the film offers a unique perspective on the development of filmmaking while capturing a snapshot of Indian life from the time. Harishchandrachi Factory is a historical comedy that blends elements of the biopic with ensemble elements and varieties of comic setups, from comedy of manners to comedy of ideas to mild farce. And on that basis, I give the film 4 out of 5 stars. It's actually a bit difficult to force this film into a neat genre because the biopic genre is often overrun by a tendency to emphasize the dramatic elements so much that they border on tragedy. This film keeps it light and avoids the kind of claustrophobia that is so common in biopic movies. The film may draw comparisons to Hugo, another whimsical film exploring the birth of cinema, but a reminder, Harishchandrachi Factory came first. I like this film better, Hugo just wasn't my cup of tea. It also made me think of, and starring Pancho Villa as himself, which is an interesting film with a bunch of silent film lore, and starring Pancho Villa as himself is much more on the dramatic biopic side, and again, I think I'll stick with Harishchandrachi Factory over it, but if you like Harishchandrachi Factory, these are some flicks to check out. In addition, I would recommend The Artist, which is a much more stylized depiction of silent cinema, Sunset Boulevard and Singin' in the Rain, which take very different approaches to the transition from silent cinema to talkies, and even Hail Caesar by the Coens. The way the Coens treat Josh Brolin's character as a struggling studio head parallels some of the struggles Dada Falke faces as he begins his foray into producing films. One reviewer on Letterboxd says the movie inexplicably feels aimed at very young kids, and its cheap production design is hard to get over. There is an after-school special kind of vibe at times, but I think it's just the wholesome tone the film is going for. Again, for me, you can only handle so much of what passes for quote-unquote gritty realism in the biopic genre. The formula of that gritty realism actually makes them feel contrived and fake to me more often than not. Although it is true that the movie does come across a bit pat and convenient at times, the best review of the film I've read on Letterboxd was by Ritvijay, who summed it up nicely. It's a very sweet film. You will love it if you're not diabetic. Harishchandrachi Factory is a unique film that manages to sidestep so many pitfalls of its topic and subject. It would have been so easy to make the Ferungis just token baddies, but interestingly enough, the film shows how the love of the craft of filmmaking, even way back then, cut across social, class, and ethnic boundaries. Falke's plucky determination was blessed by the goodwill of people, foreign and domestic. And despite the setbacks, this new subculture of cinema created a little pocket to help others along in spite of their differences. In that sense, the film lives up to my criteria of keeping it creative, cross-cultural, and constructive. What are your thoughts about Harishchandrachi Factory? Leave a comment along with a recommendation for another regional Indian film that has a special place in your heart, and we'll see if we can get around to it.